Per the State of California, Executive Order N2920, this meeting is being held telephonically. All public comments were received either by email or via voicemail as noted within the agenda. Council, please mute your microphones until called upon for comment or vote. Mayor, I'm now passing the mic over to you.
Thank you. Could you please call the meeting to order?
I will do roll call. You get to call the meeting to order.
Yeah.
Mayor Wiggins?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith? Mayor Pro Tem Smith, you may be muted. All right, Councilmember Davies?
Here.
Councilmember Pogencord?
Here.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Here.
City Clerk Marsh?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith is absent. All other elected officials are present telephonically.
All right. At this point, I would ask that you join with me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And before we begin, staff has informed me that we will be removing item 10 from the agenda for approval at a future meeting. Consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the City Council concerning the item before action is taken. Were there any public comments regarding consent agenda items that should be removed?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you.
This is Phil. I'm back on.
Okay. And Ashley, you will poll the council?
Yes, Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Are there any consent agenda items you would like removed?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, ma'am.
Councilmember Pogencord?
No.
Councilmember Scrivener?
None for me, thanks.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Not for me. Thank you.
Mayor Wiggins?
No. And at this point, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I so move.
This is Phil. I second.
Okay. Our clerk will now take a vote via roll call.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Pogencord?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Wiggins?
Yes. It was a 5-0 vote. Go ahead.
It was a 5-0 vote for approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Audience oral and written communications. Per the State of California Executive Order N2920, do we have any public comments?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. Okay. Item 4, disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum.
Madam Mayor, this is Councilmember Davies. I need to recuse myself because I'm an employee of RSI Petroleum.
Thank you. Were there any other public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. Our clerk will now ask for council comment via roll call.
Councilmember Pogencourt,
None for me, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
No, thanks.
Mayor Wiggins.
No. I will now entertain a motion to approve the disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum.
This is Phil. Make the motion.
Okay?
I'll second Pogencourt.
Okay. Our clerk will now take a vote via roll call.
Councilmember Pogencourt,
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Wiggins.
Yes.
It was a 4-0 vote for approval of the disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum with a recusal from Councilmember Davies.
Thank you. Item 5, purchase of a sewer collection system hydrojetter. Our Public Works Director, Don Marsh, will now give the report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. I'm excited to present this item to you tonight. Probably more excited than you are to hear it. But the item you have before you is regarding the purchase of a sewer collection system hydrojetter. And in 2005, the city purchased our existing collection system hydrojetter. This machine is designed to assist staff in maintaining, cleaning, and clearing blockages in our sewer collection system. The system that we currently have, or the machine that we have, is well beyond its useful life and has become quite unreliable and a maintenance headache. So on September 8th of 2020, staff distributed an RFP to 9 qualified vendors and solicited quotes. The RFP was posted on the city website, and proposals were due back on October 8th. At the time of the RFP, we received 3 qualified proposals, and part of the scope of work for the RFP was that staff was requiring vendors to provide an on-site demo of the machine so that we could actually try it out in real world situations and test the machine in our actual sewer system and make sure that the guys liked it, it worked, it did what it was supposed to do, and met all the safety requirements. So after the bids were received, the staff arranged for the demo of those machines, and one of the bidders actually declined to perform a demo. That was the Harbin, California. They declined to provide a demo unit for us, so that narrowed it down to two qualified bidders. And after carefully reviewing the bid packages, specifications, and warranties, and the operations of the machine in our actual collection system, it was determined that Plumbers Depot meets the requirement specifications of the RFP best and will be the safest and most efficient machine for the city of Tehachapi. So we did budget in this year's fiscal budget $85,000 for a new sewer jetter. This bid comes in under that by about $7,800. So staff's recommendation is that the council approve the purchase of the Plumbers Depot machine for a total of $77,212. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. Our clerk will now ask for council comments via roll call.
Councilmember Davies,
No, I do not have any at this time.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
None. Thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
None for me, except I can't help myself but say I'm so delighted that this is such a point of excitement for you. And I was riveted.
Good comment.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
I'm laughing. No comment. Is that what you're asking for?
Yes.
All right.
Mayor Wiggins?
No. I will now entertain a motion to authorize staff to proceed with the purchase of a sewer collection system hydrojetter from the Plumbers Depot for a total of $77,212.
I move that we purchase from Plumbers Depot machine for a total of $77,212.
I'll second that.
Okay, our clerk will now take a vote via roll call.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes, definitely.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Wiggins?
Yes.
It was a 5-0 vote to authorize staff to proceed with the purchase of a sewer collection system hydrojetter from the Plumbers Depot for a total of $77,212.
Thank you. Item number 6, purchase of an above-ground storage tank and fuel management system.
Madam
Thank you,
Mayor,
Madam.
this Councilmember Davies. Even though RSI Petroleum does not sell tanks, but because I'm an employee of RSI from whom the city purchased its fuel, although I'm advised by city attorney, have I been advised by the city attorney that does not create a conflict of interest, I wish to recuse myself in order to avoid any public perception of a conflict.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. This item that you have before you is, like you said, it's for the purchase of an above-ground fuel storage tank and fuel management system. So as you recall, in April of this year, the City of Tehachapi was awarded $300,000 as part of the Governor's Office of Emergency Services, or Cal OES, grant program to strengthen our resiliency and infrastructure to withstand PSPS events. Imagine that. This grant funding was used recently for the purchase of 2 emergency backup generators for water and wastewater operations. As a result of cost-saving measures in the specification of those generators, the city actually saved over $93,000, and so as a result, those funds are available for additional resiliency projects. The Public Works Department intends to use these remaining funds for the installation of an upgraded fuel storage and management system at the Public Works facility. This new fuel system will allow for, obviously, more storage, less reliance on frequent fuel deliveries, and better management and control of the fuel dispensing system. The system will track all fuel usage by employees and by department, and include remote monitoring of tank levels via real-time web-based desktop software. The existing fuel tanks have very limited capacity. You can see 500 gallons of diesel and gasoline, and typical usage is about 650 gallons of gas a week and 35 gallons of diesel. But in a extended power outage event, diesel usage can easily go over 250 gallons per day, depending on the location of the power outage and the extent of that. As you can see, that doesn't allow for a lot of storage in our existing system. So on November 3rd, staff distributed a specification sheet to 6 qualified fuel system manufacturers and solicited proposals for fuel storage tank with an integrated fuel management system. Proposals were due on November 16th, and after careful review of the proposals, staff has determined that EnviroSafe Tanks has presented the most favorable and responsive proposal with a price of $49,924. As I go on in my staff report, but actually EnviroSafe was the only vendor that provided a responsive bid. EnviroSafe, they also provided an alternative bid that was actually less money and provided for additional storage of diesel, including 2,000 gallons of diesel storage and 2,000 gallons of gasoline. The cost savings with that alternate proposal was $1,209. So after review of all the bids, the recommendation is to go with EnviroSafe Tanks with the alternate bid for $48,715. After the purchase of this new fuel tank, we will obviously have an additional $50,000 of Cal OES funds still available, and we will use that for the remaining installation components for the fuel tank, which is the foundation, electrical wiring, and the such. The fiscal impact is that all of this purchase will be covered under the Cal OES grant 100%, and there is no matching requirements. So staff recommends that the City Council authorize staff to proceed with the purchase of 1 fuel storage tank and fuel management system from EnviroSafe Tanks for a total of $48,715 plus applicable taxes and shipping. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. Our clerk will now ask for council comments via roll call.
Councilmember Davies? Oh, sorry, he's recused. Councilmember Pogencord?
I have none, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
None.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
None.
Mayor Wiggins?
None. I will now take a motion to authorize staff to proceed with the purchase of 1 fuel storage tank and fuel management system from EnviroSafe Tanks for a total of $48,715 plus applicable taxes and shipping.
I so move.
I'll second that.
Our clerk will now take a vote via roll call.
Councilmember Pogencord?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Wiggins?
Yes.
It was a 4-0 vote to authorize staff to proceed with the purchase of 1 fuel storage tank and fuel management system from EnviroSafe Tanks for a total of $48,715 plus applicable taxes and shipping, with a recusal from Councilmember Davies.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 7, second reading and adoption of an ordinance approving Plan Development Number 2019-02, the address at Tehachapi. Our Development Services Director, Jay Schlosser, will now give the report.
Thank you, Mayor Wiggins and council members. I, too, am excited to make this presentation tonight. The first item I have for you is, as you said, Plan Development 2019-02, the address at Tehachapi. Tonight, we're presenting the second reading and asking for approval of an ordinance to adopt the final master development plan. So Not going to give you a lot of background because our last meeting I gave you an extensive presentation on this project. So instead, I'll simply say this for the record's sake. The address at Tehachapi is a master plan development request to construct 238 single-family homes in a planned development zone in the northeast corner of Tucker Road and Highline Road on a parcel that's approximately 57 acres in size. Again, a detailed staff report and presentation was first provided to the Planning Commission on October 26th of this year. The Planning Commission recommended that the City Council approve the project, and the specific approvals include the final Master Development Plan, tentative Track Map 7363, and a project-specific mitigated negative declaration that we've prepared in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act. Just as a brief reminder, you all considered this project at our last meeting on November 16th. And you did adopt a resolution approving tentative track map 7363 and the project sequel report. And you also introduced an ordinance of the City of Tehachapi to adopt the final master development plan and the conditions of approval for the project. And again, due to the extensive nature of the project report and presentation, I did not duplicate all that data in your staff report tonight, and instead provided links to where that information has been on the city's website now for several weeks. And then, of course, the presentation from the November 6th meeting was available on YouTube for the entire time between the last meeting and today. So with that, I did attach the ordinance, which was prepared by the city attorney, along with the conditions of approval for this project. And so my recommendation is that you adopt an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Tehachapi approving Plan Development Number 2019-02, the address at Tehachapi, subject to the listed conditions of approval. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 1 by voicemail. If you will remain muted, we will play that voicemail momentarily.
Thank you.
Hello, members of the Tehachapi City Council. My name is Doug Donkel, D-O-U-G-D-O-N-C-K-E-L-S. I live in an unincorporated area somewhat adjacent to the proposed development. I'm writing this to voice my concerns. I attended the Planning Commission meeting several weeks ago and was the only citizen that spoke. I have a somewhat neutral stance, but am certainly concerned about this large decision that is being put upon your shoulders. How big is the scope? Well, let's just take a random price of a home of $400,000 times 238. That's over $95 million. I think based on the square footage of the homes, that's a conservative number. The obvious changes in the views will speak for themselves for the area. My negative concerns are as follows. The project is not compatible to the surrounding area in all 4 directions. It is urban sprawl. The intersection of Highline and Tucker will need a traffic signal, or as voted on by the Planning Commission by a vote of 4-1, a roundabout. The City of Tehachapi will incur 90% of the costs for that change, according to the Planning Commission at the meeting. All 2-story homes. That is not as eye-pleasing as a mixture of single-story / 2-story. More traffic on Tucker, already the busiest street in Tehachapi. Will the development be surrounded by block walls and landscaping? The artist's pictures don't address this, and it was brought up at the Planning Commission meeting. Is the developer familiar with the wind in their design of a second-story decks and flat roofs for snow loads? The concern would be wind blowing furniture off those decks. Where are the solar panels in the artist's drawings? I did not see them. That is a new code requirement in 2020. In closing, the developers and development have been happening in Tehachapi way longer than I've been alive, 61 years. I'm not against it. It's good for the economy. Don't sell yourself and the City of Tehachapi short. A project with this kind of money certainly should have some wiggle room to give something back in exchange for doing business. Thanks again. The only positives I see is that it'll bring construction jobs, but I'm concerned that most of them will be from out of the area. Certainly a positive would be their homes where families will live. Again.
That concludes the voicemail, and that concludes our public comments.
Thank you. Our clerk will now ask for council comments via roll call.
Councilmember Davies?
No, I appreciate the caller calling in, though. It's good that we have the public involved with our decisions and everything. I thank him for his comments. That's all I have.
Councilmember Pokencourt?
Yes, I thank him for his comments also, and I have some concerns similar to him. However, I did approve it last week or 2 weeks ago when we voted.
Okay, Councilmember Scrivener?
None for me, thanks.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
No further comments other than the ones I registered at the last meeting. Thank you.
Mayor Wiggins?
No, I have none. I will now take a motion to adopt an ordinance approving plan development number 1902, the address at Tehachapi, subject to conditions of approval.
I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
I'll second it, Madam.
Okay. Our clerk will now take a vote via roll call.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Pokencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Wiggins?
Yes.
It is a 5-0 vote to adopt an ordinance approving plan development number 2019-02, the address at Tehachapi, subject to conditions of approval.
Thank you. Item 8, dissolution of Landscape and Lighting District Number 1, Zone 9, Track 6723A, and Zone 11, Track 6497. I will now open the public hearing. Was the public hearing noticed, and was there any correspondence received?
The notice was published on November 11th in the Tehachapi News, and there were 0 comments received.
Thank you. Our Development Services Director, Jay Schlosser, will now give the report.
Very good. Honorable Mayor and Council members, the second item I have for you tonight is, as you said, the dissolution of Landscape and Lighting District Number 1, Zones 9 and 11. Briefly, as a reminder for those listening in, a Landscape and Lighting District is an assessment tool by which we assess newly built neighborhoods typically, although some developments as well, to contribute the cash needed or the money needed to maintain public area landscaping and lighting associated with, like I said, typically subdivisions. So the condition of approval for tracks 6723 and track 6497 were approved back in 2007, and the City Council approved the resolution to annex these 2 tracts into Landscape and Lighting District Number 1, which is a citywide landscape and lighting district, and to begin levy and collection of annual assessments. But subsequent to that, neither of those tracts developed into actual housing developments following the Great Recession that started in 2007-2008. And subsequent to that, in the recent 12-month period, both of those tracts have formally expired, and are now no longer entitled projects. Therefore, the money that has been assessed and collected in those 2 tracts sits in a separate account. And we consulted with Wildan Financial Services on how to dissolve these zones because they're no longer necessary. And they advised this hearing process for its dissolution. The dissolution allows for the funds, which total somewhere around $72,000 to $75,000, to be returned to the City General Fund. And you approved resolution number 50-20 on November 2nd, setting a public hearing date to formally receive public comment. So that's what we're doing tonight. That's why you opened a public hearing. And subject, of course, to the public hearing, staff's recommendation is that you approve a resolution dissolving of the Landscape and Lighting District Number 1, Zone 9, Track 6723A, and Zone 11, Track 6497. That concludes my report.
All right. Do we have any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. I will now close the public hearing, and our clerk will now ask for council comments via roll call.
Councilmember Davies?
I have no comments.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
None, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
None, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
None, thank you.
Mayor Wiggins?
No, thank you. I will now take a motion to adopt a resolution dissolving the Landscape and Lighting District Number 1, Zone 9, Track 6723A, and Zone 11, Track 6497.
Madam Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second Pogencourt.
And our clerk will now take a vote via roll call.
Councilmember Davies?
Yes.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Wiggins?
Yes.
It is a 5-0 vote to adopt a resolution dissolving the Landscape and Lighting District Number 1, Zone 9, Tract 6723A, and Zone 11, Tract 6497.
Okay. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor Wiggins. I would just like to congratulate a couple people. We received the election results from the Kern County Elections Office, the clerk, and Michael Davies and Christina Scrivener have been certified as the 2 new city council members, and Tori Marsh as our city clerk, and Stacy Curry as our city treasurer. So at the next regularly scheduled council meeting, we'll be swearing in the 4 individuals. So I'd like to congratulate them and thank them for their service to the city of Tehachapi. A lot of hours put in, volunteering with not just meetings like this, but every day, day in and day out with very important city business. So I want to say thank you and congratulations to those 4 individuals. And secondly, I want to say thank you to all the individuals and businesses that are decorating their businesses and homes in the city and the surrounding area for a holiday decorating contest. It's really going well. Very excited about it, and I'd like to thank everyone and encourage people to continue to decorate for this Christmas season. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Council member reports. Councilmember Davies.
No, what City Manager Mr. Garrett said. It's beautiful driving around town, looking at all the lights. I really think everybody's going a little bit extra this year. Appreciate everybody that's doing that and getting the spirit going for everybody. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Pogencourt.
Yes, I ditto what he says. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. The city looks beautiful. The tree is beautiful. It's nice to drive around. We'll be doing our yearly drive around as a family to look at the lights soon. So I'm excited to see all the decorations as well.
Thank you. Councilmember Scrivener.
Well, I hate to repeat what others have said, but with a family of 4 children between the ages of 6 and 14, I have to echo that. We were out last night in both my district and Joni's district, and with hot chocolate and popcorn, and my children were just so happy. And in this time with so much controversy and so many challenges, it was a sweet reprieve to jam out to Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Carol of the Bells, and enjoy our beautiful town and the Christmas lights. And people really have gone above and beyond in the spirit of the challenge that the mayor and Greg put out there, and I think it was just the right thing to do. And so I encourage others to go out there and do the same and enjoy some of the simple pleasures of the season.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
I echo all of the above, and I was telling my wife today, I remember years and years and years ago here where we would have the contest, and I think the first prize was $15, and people just went all out, you know? And it's just nice to see people doing this, just getting in the spirit. So it's really good to see. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm certainly not going to say anything original, but I can't believe how beautiful the city is this year with all the decorations. We went out a few nights ago and drove around all over Tehachapi, not just district-wide or District 5, and I could not believe the work that people have put in this year. It's kind of like we had no control over anything else, but we're going to have control over this. And it's wonderful, and I love it. It's like I was when I was a little girl. My mom, who was a newspaper reporter, came up here and helped judge the decorating contest. And so even as a little girl, I got to participate. And I was so proud because in Mojave we didn't have anything like that. So, you know, hurrah, hurrah to the residents and businesses of Tehachapi. Thank you. And we will now enter into closed session. For information regarding the outcome of closed session, please contact Ashley Whitmore at 661-822-2200, extension